Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button notification as it pushes the content out to more potential subscribers as well as the current subscribers. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do so yourself. Also, tell a friend. But most importantly, if you're new to the channel and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit the bell notification right below this video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, the bombshell phone conversation between Frank Alexander and Michael Moore is one of the most overlooked situations involving the Tupac, Las Vegas, death row situations that exist. And so I was asked to do a part 2 in breaking down and examining actually what Frank and Michael Moore were actually talking about. And so here it is. I found this to be interesting because I never really paid attention to this phone conversation before, to be perfectly honest. And what I found interesting is the fact that what makes this so legit truthful is the fact that Michael Moore didn't know he was being recorded. And Michael Moore is actually pointing out the strange coincidences as well as what he believed to be something that somebody knew already.
There's too much stuff going on now. Frank, I'm telling you, I'm going by the vibe that I seen prior to it starting. It even started like someone knew.
The way people were acting in ways that they haven't acted before in being in Las Vegas, right? So the one particular thing that stands out to me is the fact that Michael Moore had asked, he asked Frank Alexander, he said, you know, and if Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was supposed to be Suge's bodyguard, how come he wasn't with Suge that night in Vegas? Listen.
See, to me, the questions aren't answered. They're not answered. Reggie never goes to that club. Never. And all he kept doing. Well, what I didn't understand is how come Reggie is Suge's bodyguard and he wasn't with Suge? It just didn't add up. It didn't add up. Reggie was so weird. I'm going to tell you another thing. Let's look at Reggie's thing. Why would Reggie, he's never, ever went to that club and started to, why was Reggie and Larry there? Why was Reggie and Al there? Well, he turned it over to Al every time. He turned it over to you. Right. He turned it over to Marcus the time before that. He was never there. And he was never there. Why was he so insistent on being there? And I asked him. When I first got to the club, I said, Reggie, why are you here? Aren't you going to shoot? No, I got to take care of some things at the club. And guess what? What did he do different? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing at all. He did nothing. He just was there.
Also, another thing that really got my attention was the fact that Frank Alexander, as well as Michael Moore, in their observation of Tupac, and Frank said he had got some information in regards to when Tupac was shooting gang-related, that Tupac was depressed. Prior, should I say contrary to what we've heard from other people who've tried to dress Tupac up as being happy as a peacock. You understand what I'm saying? And another thing I want you to listen to as I'm about to play this is the fact that when they were at the Luxor and Frank Alexander went upstairs to get dressed, Michael Moore made an observation of Tupac, and he looked like he was down. He had his head down, he said, and he asked Tupac what was up, what's happening. And Tupac told him, you know, it's a bunch of shit, right? But what really, really got my attention was the fact that Tupac was asking Michael Moore, are you coming back? You gonna be here with me tonight, right? You know what I mean? And Michael Moore made the observation and said Tupac never did that. He said Tupac would usually, like I've told y'all before in prior videos, even us when we were at what's the club in Hollywood, Peanuts, right? How Tupac, he didn't have no security on him, right? Michael Moore said usually Tupac would be trying to ditch me, you know what I mean, and lose the security. But on this particular night, he insisted that he wanted Michael Moore to be with him based on what he felt. I'm gonna get into that after this. Listen to this, man.
He was, you know what? He was depressed, wasn't he? Yeah. Go back to his train of thought. Yeah, he said to me he didn't want to be there no way. Well, get this. I was told that while he was on gang related, that last week he was upset about going to Las Vegas. Frank, I'm even a little better than that. When you went upstairs to change your clothes, and we were downstairs, I said, man, what's up? Because he was moping like a little bitch. Right. I said, yo, what's up? Man, it's all kind of bullshit. And he told me, he goes, Mike, whatever you do, come back downstairs when you get dressed. I want you to be there. And I thought, boy, Pac, if anything, he wants to ditch me. Right. Because he's already tried. Yeah. He ain't never, ever said to me since I've been working for him, come back down, I need you here. He ain't never said that, Frank. Never. Then when he said that, I got a little concerned. I said, yo, Pac, is everything all right? Because he would sit down underneath one of them little slot machines, and he had his head down. So I said, yo, nigga, what's up? What's up? And he said, man, just all kinds of shit. You know, then he said, hey, you coming back, right? That's when you was, he goes, there goes Frank. See, he seen you first. Right. He goes, there's Frank right there. Because I saw him waving too. That's right. And he said, you coming back, right? That's the last thing he said to me. I said, yeah, you know I'm coming back, man. The last thing he said to you. Yeah, sure was. That's right. Sure was.
Now, I want to give you something that I know from listening to what Michael Moore said in regards to what Tupac said to him in regards to him wanting him to be with him. Tupac knew that Michael Moore always probably kept a gun and had a gun that night. Also, Tupac, if you listen to what Michael Moore said in regards to him wanting him to be with him, you coming back, right? Tupac knew that there was some kind of friction in regards to him asking for audit, as well as him firing Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. You get it? Tupac knew that. Listen, he's asking, yo, Michael, you coming back, right? And also, he knew that Frank was going to be with him, but Michael Moore also said something else in regards to them, Frank Alexander and him making the switch, and how Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. was so against that. Listen.
Okay, we got some problems, but I didn't say nothing. But then, when Reggie made a big deal about me and you doing the switch, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. And remember I told you, I said that sure was weird.
Another thing that really stands out to me is Michael Moore and Frank Alexander makes an observation when they went to this supposed alleged lawyer's office, right? And how no pictures of this lawyer was in the office. It was actually pictures of somebody else. Also, how his name was nowhere in the building. You know how when you go to a lawyer's office, the lawyer's name is in the little black thing with the little white writing or whatever. How that stood out. And when they went to the parking lot, he didn't know where his car was parked, you know, as they were leaving the meeting. And how Reggie the Rat Wright Jr. insisted in this meeting that they carry no weapons. Michael Moore basically says that as if they were trying to scare them into not carrying weapons. Listen.
So, you know, you're asking me, I'm telling you, things happened that never happened before. That thing was so persistent, and it was only a meeting about carrying your weapon. I can't even remember, Frank, if he said anything else, but we're working on you guys getting cards. Don't carry your weapon. We're working on you guys getting your cards. Whatever you do, they're going to be cracking down. They're going to be checking everything. They're going to be coming in there doing this. Everything was negative to scare you.
And last but not least, the overall situation, these are two people who were there that night in Vegas, who make keen observations as to what went on and to the unanswered questions, right, that they had, even working in being involved with the situation overall, and how Tupac was depressed, how he didn't want to be in Vegas, and all of the other things that, you know, people over the years have tried to control this narrative and paint Tupac, like I say again, as this happy peacock, you know, with his feathers sprouted, and that simply wasn't the case. But more importantly, Tupac made that observation that, yo, something was up with security that night. And Michael Moore basically making the observation, well, how come Reggie wasn't with Suge that night? They was always together, right? And how Michael Moore said Reggie never wanted to go to the Club 662, but on that night in particular, he claimed like he had something to do. But Michael Moore said once they got to the club, Reggie Wright did nothing. He had nothing to do. It wasn't really nothing that he did, right? As if basically somebody knew something was going to happen in reference to Tupac. I find that very, very interesting. And like I said, I don't want to paint or put anything on it. Like I said, I never really paid attention to this interview. I really didn't. But now that I came across it, I think it's very interesting that you know the facts. And the thing that makes it plausible, believable, is the fact that Michael Moore didn't know he was being recorded. And he could speak candidly and honestly in a conversation where he was confiding in Frank and Frank was confiding in him. But Frank, a little bit more on the other side, knew that he was recording the conversation. But Michael Moore was speaking. When Michael Moore spoke, he didn't know he was being recorded. So therefore, I'm leaning more to what Michael Moore is saying than what Frank is saying. Not that Frank is lying, but Frank knew that he was recording the conversation. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.